right, have and have not fans. Hope everyone is doing well. And well, I actually looked back and I did a video on this same topic over a year ago. But since we actually have Alyssa in the show now with new, information about who she is and her background, we can now kind of combine it with the Erica information we have. And a lot of people are still saying that, what if Alyssa is Erica's sister? And what I'm going to do is I want to pull information from previous episodes in season 3 and then, use what we know in season 7 to see if we can kind of either close the book on the theory or at the very least, the mystery's still open. We just don't know exactly where it's going. So before going further, make sure you take a moment to like the video, hit subscribe, click that bell icon, and turn on and allow all notifications. Trust me, I'm checking the numbers every couple of days, and they aren't going up much when it comes to the percentage of people who actually do that. So please hit the bell and allow all notification. And finally, follow me on social media platforms. Links are in the description below. So let's jump right into this. Now, Alyssa has pretty much shown her true colors. Unfortunately, this is a route that I kind of predicted the show would go in, but honestly, I thought it would have been an interesting concept to have Alyssa display herself as hey, all cards on the table from the beginning. I'm a prostitute, used to work for Candace. I don't do that anymore. Erica is my best friend. I want to get out of this life. She told me you're a good guy. I want to be financially secure. You give me that, and I want to leave this life. I mean, at first, she just pretty much said that, hey, I heard you were good in the sack. I want to try it out myself to see what it's like, to see if pretty much see if the hype is real, that Erica built you up. I want to see if you really are as good as she said you were. And now she's pretty much pulling a Candace card where she's going to pretend that she was abused by someone in order to get what she wants out of them. Remember, Candace pulled the same crap in season 1 when she wanted the 100K in sports car from Jim, that David was going to give her 100K in, quarterly payments for law school. So it's one of those situations where David could be between a rock and a hard place, no pun intended, or he literally has, cameras and everything in his house, so he could pretty much prove his innocence. But who knows? I mean, Alyssa went out screaming in the middle of the night, and I'll probably do that video people want me to do. It's like, Jeremy, you did that video about Andy from Sisters. Is Andy stupid? Do the same thing about David. I probably will do that just for funs. But I feel like when we look at Alyssa, what do we know? Her and her sister, when they were like 7 or 9. Yeah, she was either 7 or 9 when she went to court and, was introduced to David, who was a judge at the time, on the bench. And her father raped her and her sister, killed her mother, and then, David put him away for life. And then from foster home to foster home, Alyssa and her sister ended up in pretty much the same life as, let's say, Candace or Erica. And as a result, her sister eventually died of an overdose. Alyssa did go to college and, was prostituting in order to pay for it, just like Candace. And now she is, obviously she used to work for Candace. Most likely how she met Erica, because Erica was one of the bottom hoes too. And as a result, she learned about David, and from there, she wants a piece of him too, and his bank account. So let's go back to what Erica told Candace. Her sister name was Jasmine. She was killed by Warlock because she owed him $700. We know that Erica's children are being raised by her parents. They don't like her because her mother had pretty much informed the children about who Erica is or was and what she did for a living, and they didn't like her. Her father was a reverend. We theorized, because a lot of us said the same thing, that what if Reverend Waters from the halfway point of season 1, introduced after Lil Lizzie, the hit and run, what if he was Erica's father? Well, we never got follow up on that. So what we do know is that both Erica and Alyssa had sisters who were killed in the life. 1, Erica's sister was killed by Warlock. 2, Alyssa's sister was killed from an overdose. Now, given the fact, it stands to reason, it's not confirmed, but it stands to reason that Alyssa's sister could have been working for Candace as well. Who knows? Where did the drugs come from? We know Warlock, dealt drugs. So did Quincy's part of town. So who's to say that Alyssa and her sister weren't on opposing sides or factions where one was on Quincy's side and she was working under Candace. Alyssa was working with Candace. And that's not to say that, I mean, hell, we know Warlock was a pimp because there was that one chick he had when he went to the tow company answering the phone. So I feel like, Quincy, well, yeah, it was stated by, Hannah back in like episode 1. What job that boy got you out here doing now? So, yeah, pretty much Warlock and Quincy did the exact same thing. They were just on different sides of town, so to speak. So it stands to reason, and it's possible that perhaps, Alyssa was on Candace's team, aka Quincy, and then her sister was on Warlock's group. You just don't know. I mean, there's so many things we don't know, but I don't really think that they're related in any way aside from their past lives and the fact that they're both connected to David now, or excuse me, they were both connected to Candace and now they kind of latched on to David, which begs the question though. I mean, how much did Erica tell Alyssa? I mean, we know that she knows about the whole situation about, oh, he's a good man, he's rich, yada, yada, yada. But the whole Veronica Harrington thing seems to be something that's unknown to her. Like the whole thing about, how Erica died and whatnot. I mean, she was literally dumped off at Veronica's house and she didn't even know what to make of Veronica. I mean, she heard of her, but not enough to just put two and two together. Like, oh, snap, you killed Erica. Now I better get out of here too. No, she doesn't know that. So I feel like she's playing a game that she doesn't know. And I really do wish Alyssa came in at a better point in the series. By that, I mean, I wish Alyssa didn't come into the show when there were like 30 other characters introduced, because her being brought into the show doesn't have much of an impact. What I mean by that is when she showed up, I mean, it was really like, oh, great, another one for David to deal with. I mean, David's pretty much doing what Jim was doing back in season 1, hooking up with a whore and, getting played by her. And at least Jim was being called out for it a lot during season 1, to the point where even his wife, Catherine, was like, what is wrong with you? You had these girls in the past, but you could spot them a mile away when they're trying to play you and you would shut them down. But you're letting this one whore get the best of you. And we can really attribute that to Jim literally having that midlife crisis. He had just turned 50. He was tired of, well, being a have. He just wanted to throw it all away, which is kind of ironic how he acts now. But, it's amazing how different the show is now than how it was back then. So, I mean, it would have been interesting, though, to have Alyssa have that, maybe that revenge factor. Let's say her and Erica were sisters and perhaps she wanted revenge. It's like, oh, yeah, Erica messed around with you and she wound up dead. Now I'm going to take you for what you got, that kind of thing. Or the best friend thing is like, oh, yeah, you took my best friend away from me. I mean, we just know that Alyssa just wants money she wants to be taken care of. And that's pretty much it. And it's like one way or another, I want to get that house. So it's kind of like she pulled a 180, but it's like, I think, again, we just wrapped up season 7. And I think that the problem is we're just seeing too much of the same thing. It's like we've seen this storyline before and we've seen it done better. So I feel like that's why Alyssa is somewhat not being as well received by fans as expected. Don't get me wrong. I feel like we all enjoyed the water fountain scene and the bed scene. Even though the bed scene was good, the David's back thing was the thing that just took me out of it. Like, it makes no damn sense. But overall, I do feel like with the show potentially coming to a close soon, we don't know for sure. Like I did the video about, will season 8 be divided into 2 parts, and then we'll have season 8 and then season 9, and then that's pretty much it. Like, I really do feel like the haves and the have-nots could be closing because of the fact that with the variety interview and the new talent being brought in to do to be writers and producers, and Tyler saying that he's going to take more of a back seat in the coming years. I think he said that he has about 2.5 years on his current contract with Viacom. So we don't know if he's going to re-sign with them or, do some other projects. I don't know. But yeah, the haves and the have-nots will most likely end in 2021, at least from what's been already filmed. And, I've already talked about that multiple times, so no need to go into it there. But I just think that Alyssa being brought in, there could have been a lot of potential there. Like, David probably could have found with Alyssa what he didn't find with Erica. And I was talking with Crystal Lee Naomi, aka Alyssa, aka Jasmine Borders from Sisters, and she wanted kind of a little crash course history on Erica and David. Like, did David really love her? And I went back. It was like, what was it? Season 5, episode 21 or 22, entitled Moles. And this was after I had to pimp slap that bitch. And David and Erica were in the jacuzzi or hot tub. I don't know what it was. But basically, that's when Erica was like, I love you. And it's like, I love you so much, baby. And then they started to have sex. And this was when Erica was trying to, get pregnant by David. So it's debatable if she really did love him. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do a future video. Maybe I'll do a video on that in the near future. Even though I've covered it before, I feel like more fans. I feel like Alyssa's presence is making more fans look back at the Erica storyline than focus on the Alyssa storyline, because the Alyssa storyline is like I said before, something we've seen before and something done better. But overall, I really do feel like there was potential there. Because Alyssa, I used to work for Candace, and I knew Erica, and then she had a pretty decent scene with Benny, who called her out for being too thirsty and everything like that. But I just feel like it's kind of fan servicey. But like I said, there were just so many new characters introduced in the back half of season 7 that Alyssa's presence felt overshadowed. But that's just my opinion. So with that being said, in conclusion, I do not think Alyssa and Erica are sisters. They just have the connection from their, lives working with Candace and, trying to be affiliated with David. Because again, I thought the concept was interesting. Like Alyssa, I feel like Alyssa kind of represented the fans. Like, look, I used to work for Candace. I'm a whore, prostitute, whatever you want to call me. I just want to be taken care of. I thought that was an interesting dynamic, that she just came on the scene, she gave a semi-exposition dump, but at least she just told us up front instead of having it stretched out for like 2 seasons. So I was interested to see what they would do with that. However, that isn't the case. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal, Cash App, or join my Patreon for as little as $1 a month.